up, guys? In this video, we're going to talk about what carb cycling is, how it works, research behind it, a visual example on how I do it, and how you can do it, and my results. So what is it? In simple terms, carb cycling is just eating different amounts of carbs throughout the week, depending on the days you train. You can have high, medium, or low carbs, or just high and low. Before we get to what carb cycling does, we need to know what carbs actually do. It fills up your glycogen storage, which is responsible for providing energy for your muscles. When you have an overflow of glycogen storage, that's when it becomes fat. And when you have low levels of glycogen storage, it uses as fat storage as your primary energy source. That's when you start getting lean, shredded, and all the good stuff. Now you'll probably be wondering, why don't I just stay at this depleted state the whole time and burn the fat? This approach is commonly known as keto. There's three main problems with this. First, you're going to plateau. Your body's going to get used to this depleted state after a few weeks. And instead of using fat, it's going to start burning muscle to use as its energy source and all the progress you made in the gym. Second, carbs are the main source of energy for mental and physical energy too. Now, do you ever feel so tired and once you have something like rice or pasta, you just feel so much better and energetic? Mood and energy level wise, you're going to suffer to do work and daily activities if you keep staying at this depleted state. Number 3, do you see yourself doing a keto diet for years to come? Yeah, you make some progress with keto, but is it sustainable? Can you go out of carbs for years to come? If the answer is no, then what's the point of doing it for a few weeks, making progress, and most likely losing all the progress again? I just want to say, guys, carb cycling is not the fastest way to build muscle or lose fat, but it's definitely the most sustainable, and it's going to let you enjoy different meals. According to the results of a 2013 study, carb restriction improved insulin sensitivity and weight. In this study, there was 2 groups. One group had restricted carbs for a few days of the week, were able to consume protein and fat as much as they liked, while the other group had no restrictions. However, the calorie intake of the both group was the same. The group with the carb cycling diet saw a 5% greater weight loss, reduction in insulin resistance, and a body fat reduction than the other group. To explain what carb cycling is, I'm going to show you a visual example of this. So this is you at your 90% of your glycogen storage. If you eat more than 100% of your glycogen storage and do not use energy, it's going to turn into fat. This is you at 20% of your glycogen storage. And let's just say your training requires 40% of the glycogen storage, then you're going to burn fat for the extra energy because you have low levels of glycogen. Okay, now I'm going to show you this carb cycling. So on the days you train intensely, something like a leg day or a heavy day, you're going to require high levels of energy. So you eat tons of carbs, you feel good, you have a crazy pump. At this phase, you're maximizing muscle building. Throughout the session, you're going to use up the glycogen storage. By the end of the day, you're back to low levels of glycogen storage. So on the rest day or the low intense day, you may eat low carbs. And these days you're eating more fats for energy to do your normal routines for the day. At this phase, you're prioritizing fat loss to do activities which require a bit of energy. It necessarily doesn't mean you're going to burn fat at this stage, but you're not going to gain fat either. It depends on how much glycogen storage you have and how much energy you use on your rest day. And this to make more sense, I'm going to show you an example on how I do it. My maintenance calorie on average is between 2,500 and 2,700 calories. It really depends on how much I exercise and how intensely I do it throughout the week. At the moment, I'm basically focusing on body recomp. And you see in this example, I don't track too intensely because I've been doing this for 2 years and know ins and outs of my body. My current split for the last 2 years has been 2 upper body days and 2 lower body days. So I train 4 days a week. But I do some kind of exercise every single day, something like walking or cycling. I just prefer a very active lifestyle. On Monday, that's my heavy leg day. So I bump my calories up to 3,000 to 3,200. This becomes my high carb day, so I bump my carbs up to around 400 grams, give or take. It might be a bit less, it might be a bit more, but protein intake stays around 2,000 my body weight, which comes to around 150 grams. As my main source of energy is carbs, I eat less fats on this day. I also start my week right with a little cheat meal, something like a pancake, just to take advantage of the high carb day. Tuesday is my rest day, so I lower my calories all the way down to 2,000 or 2,200. My carbs these days will be between 100 to 120 grams, give or take. It might be a bit less, but a bit more, but my carb intake will be very low this day. The rest of my calories are made out of fat and protein, as my calorie intake says around 2,200. My protein intake is at least 150 grams. So I don't track my fats as long as my calorie intake is around 2,200. As long as I have energy for the day to do the things I need to do. Wednesday is my intense upper body day. Again, high carbs. I bump my carbs to around 400 grams again. And my calorie intake is somewhere between 3,000 and 3,200. Protein doesn't change. Again, I'll have some kind of a cheat meal on this day. Thursday, a rest day. So calorie intake goes back to 3,200-ish, and I substitute the day to mainly high fat and high protein diet, as long as I have energy for the day to do the things I need to do. Carb intake is around 100 to 120 grams. Friday is my second lower body day. It's not too intense, it's more for volume and a technique kind of work. So again, I bump my calories around 3,000, get my carbs around 400 grams. This is where I have my cheat meal again. On this day, I might have some alcohol as well, just chill out with my friends, how the weekend goes. Saturday comes by, it's a low carb day. The only difference I have in this low carb day, because I'm training, I just bump my carbs a little bit more to 150 grams. I still have energy to do my light upper body session because the day before I'm carb loaded and I haven't used as much energy than I would in an intense day. On Friday and Saturday I do switch around here and there depending on the plans we have, myself or my friend. It's more of a chill out kind of thing in the weekends. Sunday, last day of the week, low carb day since it's my rest day. One thing I make sure on this day is that I have a lot of carbs during the night, so I have energy for Monday session and the week. So you saw how I integrate carb cycling into my life. It's pretty chilled. I have 3 cheat meals a week, which is more than enough for myself. As you can see, I track my calories, carbs and protein, but not too intensely. And the trick I have for this, always overestimate my calories to the nearest 50s and the carbs to the nearest 10. Meaning, let's just say a sandwich showed 427 calories and 43 grams of carbs. I'll mentally just track it as 450 grams because it just becomes a chore tracking it by number. Instead, I could just use really easy numbers. Mentally calculate, I'll just put on my notes. When I first did my bulk to cut in 2019, I lost a lot of fat, but also a lot of muscle and strength at the same time. It was very annoying and I felt tired all the times and I kind of struggled to finish my workouts. In late 2019, I started my bulk again. Then on August 2020, I found this video about carb cycling by Further Beat, which changed my perspective about diet quite literally. So I decided to give carb cycling a go for 60 days at a 300 calorie deficit. I worked out 4 times a week with 2 upper body and 2 lower body days. During this time, I lost a significant amount of body fat and was able to hit PRs in the gym during this time, and my strength even got stronger. I had energy to study, work at the same time. I want to mention to you guys, during this time, I still had cheat meals. I still enjoyed partying, eating out occasionally. And that's when I started becoming more strategic and trying to implement my cheat meals during the high carb day, and the days I was training. As you can see, my body changed quite literally during this period, and I was actually relatively stronger despite cutting down. I'm not saying this happened just because of carb cycling, because my training plan and sleep was on point too, but I would say carb cycling made it 10 times easier and more enjoyable. How you should do it. Like I said before, carb cycling is not a quick fix, but it's definitely the most sustainable and most enjoyable. I would say before you start carb cycling, it's best to track your carbs and calories intake for a week and find the average. That would be your maintenance carb and calorie intake. And depending on your goal, rotate your carbs depending on your training schedule, as I've laid out in the beginning of this video. Try this for the next 30 to 60 days. You may have to track each carb intake for a week or 2. Once you get your head around it, it becomes fairly easy to know without tracking it intensely. During this trialing period, I still want you to balance life, so doing the normal things you do, because you want to think about integrating this for years to come. There's no point doing it for 30 to 60 days and losing all the progress. You kind of want to overestimate everything though, because like myself, everybody underestimates everything in terms of food. So if you overestimate, it doesn't go overboard. I hope this video helped you a lot to understand about carb cycling. I tried to make it as simple as possible. Please do comment down below if you need more guidance or want me to make or follow videos around this topic. Do give it a like if you enjoyed it. It'll help a lot with the algorithm, and catch you guys next time.